All right, welcome everybody to the Free Agency Frenzy. I'm SFL Commissioner Cameron Irvine, and this is sort of like Christmas morning for the next upcoming season. 23 teams participating in Season 25, and we'll see who's on the move today. We've got some signings coming across the wire, but no free agents as of yet, so we still cannot confirm or deny that the portal is working correctly. But hopefully it is, and everyone is able to progress free agents signings right away. If you're having some issues on the back end, please DM me, and we will see if our time zones are out of whack. Mine still says outside the signing period. All right, a little behind the scenes action here. Let's try. Let's go with 1 hour sooner. How about that, folks? Give it another whirl. Hope everybody's doing well. It's 18 days, I think. Let's see. Let's double check that. No, 12 days. Or is it 19 days? 19 days since we crowned another champion, a similar champion, the Season 24 Mexico City Aztecs back-to-back. Now everyone's mortal enemy heading into Season 25. What's the phrase? If you're a hero long enough, you'll be a villain. Maybe that's what Mexico City is getting to at this point. What up? $529. Y'all should be good to go, guys. It's always a little bumpy when we get started. Once everything is confirmed up and running, we'll be firing. There we go. It works. Okay. Here's the phrase. You either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain or something like that. Yeah. You know, judging by my DMs today, sometimes I know the feeling, but... Well, while we wait for the free agencies to roll through, let's talk about some re-signings. It got started earlier this morning with Mexico City's Ray Bentley. We have Stephen Mullinex of DC coming on shortly to talk about their free agency pickups and what's going on with the Dragons, so that's going to start our calls on our show today. Handful of signings earlier today from DC, including Shabazz Synergy, Ron Van Cleef, Chuck Steller, Sam Harrison, and Kevin Say. Mexico City rolled in a bunch of re-signings before Pittsburgh got on the board. Ziggy Roenick, Ben Harrison, Brian Craven, and Todd Rigsby all back with the Riverhogs. How about Baltimore back on the board? Alden Bleeker and Olivia Bleeker getting the first signings in Baltimore, along with Young Vaught and Robert Brady. Alexander West on the board in Lexington, along with Iggy Turner and Marco Swift. Sully Richardson, the new majority owner in Los Angeles. Congrats to Sully. We'll talk to him later this hour to see what's going on in Los Angeles. DR Sim back in Houston, no surprise there. DC with a few more. Chris Lee, Orrin Wilds following in Los Angeles. Pittsburgh with a couple more. Then Chicago finally got going. Ty Patak and Paulie Truth, no surprise there. The first two off the board. The combined $8.5 million. Hey, it's more than two players, fellas. We'll see if there's enough money left for the rest of them. John Fullerton and Jess Fullerton with the re-signings as well. Christian Bachagalupi off the board for Oklahoma City, and then Florida and Vancouver with a wave of re-signings. Florida's including $3.4 million to Daniel Wright, and Vancouver's including $2.4 million plus to both Emmanuel Blackman and Christian Brown, their returning quarterback. Josh Farnsey, also a big name in there. Mark Lopez, chance to win. The highest salary so far goes to Pauly Truth. It's not even close. Darius Iniguez at 3.7, followed by Daniel Wright at 3.4. Your highest paid quarterback so far is Ty Patak, and your highest paid wide receiver is Chris Lee. Let's see what we got. Oh, yes, a pouring in of signings. And first, we're going to get to Seth Harrison at defensive end for the DC Dragons. Harrison came over from Indianapolis and signs on that defensive line with DC. Tiberius Bovine is coming over as a tight end. That's not technically a free agency signing, but the last time he played tight end was way back in his London Knights days. Chris Britton III comes over from Houston and signs with the DC Dragons. And before we get to any more, we will bring on Stephen Mullinex onto the show to discuss the Dragons and everything they have going for them. Stephen, how's it going, my friend? Doing well. Congrats on at least the first couple that have come across the wire. But first, I just want to talk about the DC Dragons for a sec. 6-6 last season, up and down. Had some bright spots. But how did you feel the season went, and what are y'all most looking forward to in season 25?
Yeah, it wasn't ideal for us. Obviously, 6-6. We've had that record for the past couple of seasons after having a 10-win season and going fairly deep into the playoffs. So disappointing that we didn't make the playoffs again for the second straight season. But I would say that our team is still very optimistic. Feel like we just need to get over that bump. The last couple of seasons, we've been struggling a little bit with our defensive coordinator spot. And last season, actually, Destro, our owner, took over the defensive coordinator spot for the first time in the 4K23 era. So we had some learning curve that was there. But with the addition of James Walters coming back as our defensive coordinator, as we announced earlier, I think it just changes a lot for us. And I think, under him, with me handling the offense, him handling the defense, we were able to have the most successful season in Dragons history that didn't include a championship win. So we're super excited from the coaching end of it. And I think we're going to have a very strong team roster-wise once again, with the majority of our team returning.
I know you're a Cowboys fan, Steven. If only you could get Jerry Jones out of his role like you did Destro out of defensive coordinating, maybe things would go a little bit better for the Cowboys. What do you think?
Well, based on their recent coaching hire, I probably had a chance to potentially become the head coach. So we'll see how it works out. I mean, look, dude, here's the thing. You're a Packers fan. You know this. If you're a true fan, you ride or die with them, man. And I learned this a long time ago. When I was in middle school, this will tell you how old I am, but the Cowboys had they had a 1-win season. This was right before the 3 Super Bowls. And nobody in my entire school was wearing Cowboys gear because they didn't want to represent, except this one guy. And this one guy got heckled all year long for even wearing it. But he taught me an important lesson. That dude was a true fan, right? That dude, that's really what a true fan should be. And I'm happy to say that we have a lot of true fans on our team here in the Dragons that are sticking with us through all these kind of ups and downs that we've had. But we think we got a good chance to really compete this year.
So James Walters comes back with Nashville's folding, so that's a big get for the DC Dragons. You've also got a couple across the wire in Chris Britton III and Seth Harrison to improve that defense. How did that all come about?
Well, we love to have families here in DC. We've got the Say family, we've got the Prococo family, and I'm proud to announce that we now have part of the Harrison family. And one of the great things about having people that are family together on the team is they celebrate together, they watch together, it gives them something else to talk about together, and so it makes our whole team feel more family oriented. So getting Seth over here is something that we've been attempting to do. We talked to him during the draft. He just got drafted before we had a chance to even have him, because he's just such a great quality person. And then to get him as a quality defensive end. I can't tell you how excited we are to have him and add him to our defensive line, which I thought was one of the best already in the league. Adding that kind of speed off the edge, I'm really excited for James Walters, what he's going to be able to do with someone like Seth Harrison. And then at linebacker, we lost Jason Strongbow 3 games of the season last year. Saeed Gore, who had been a stalwart in our defense for 7 seasons, he's decided to test free agency. So we really needed some stability for that linebacker core. We've got Nick Fargo, who I think is the best of the best, really patrolling the middle and controlling everything for us in the middle of that linebacker. We just need a great partner for Fargo. And who better than the guy that we've had on our team before in Britain? Chris has been doing excellent things in Houston, but we know Chris's character, we know his player, and him coming back to us is just huge for Walters and what he's going to do with our defense. So that gives us a stability, a great partner to come along. And actually, I reached out to Chris as soon as we lost Strongbow because I just have a great relationship with Chris. And I said, man, we just lost a guy. If we're ever going to reconnect, maybe this is something we could do in the future. And it just ended up working out.
Let's talk about your backfield a little bit. Sam Harrison, very similar to Jacob Morrison, came on really strong through the developmental program, and now is $600,000 richer than Kevin Say. I know Kevin Say is a constant on y'all's squad, but I know Sam Harrison has continued to eat away at that timeshare. What's going on in the backfield, and what kind of bond do those two have with you guys in the offense?
Let me tell you how important it is to have 2 unselfish players at your running back positions, because neither one cares about who starts. Neither one cares about who gets more yards and more touchdowns. Obviously, they both want to play well, but they understand, because of how our game is structured and how the stamina, where that's set, that it's going to have to be a 1-2 punch. And when you have 2 unselfish, high character people in those roles, then they cheer each other on. They're not looking over to the other side and being jealous of maybe what one gets when the other gets, or who starts or who doesn't start. And they're both getting their carries and shining in those carries as well. And I think they're both seeing the importance of what stamina means to having a constant back that's refreshed going up against a defense that's getting more and more tired as the game goes on.
Is Synergy still going to rock the bald hair with dreads look this year?
No, I grew the hair out this time.
Really?
So I don't have that odd combination. Yes. So we should actually have some hair on the top of the head.
That's
it's a little bit of that. Went to Hollywood, went to Los Angeles, and got some of that hair back.
That's kind of disappointing, quite frankly. I was really loving the look. Any other signings that you have to announce here this afternoon?
Yes. I wanted to make sure that I mentioned Mason Kirby. I think this is going to be the most returning free agents that we've ever had. So players that have played on other teams. We talked about James Walters. We talked about Chris Britton. We talked about Mason Kirby. Guys that have played that used to play for us, have gone off to other teams and are coming back. I think that speaks volumes about the people that we have on our team and the culture that Destro and I and the other people in the front office, like Kendall Fortson, Michael Prococo, have built to make it a positive and fun environment for people to play. And that we've got guys that want to stick with us and even come back after they've been somewhere else to try and win with us. I think it speaks volumes about our team.
Yeah, that one slipped through for me, Mason Kirby, because I guess the last time he played was in D.C., just took some time off, right?
Yeah, season 23. Want to be sure we send out congratulations to Kirby. Just recently he graduated from college, already had his first job interview set up. So we're so excited for him. But he took some time off, basically. He needed to do some real life things. And I reached out to him when, we tragically lost B.E. Robo during the season. And so we had a spot open at the wide receiver core, and we reached out to a lot of people. But to bring back one of our own, and a guy that I've had connections with since I used to own the Dallas Lobos, is always somebody I'm trying, those old guys that are still in the league, I still reach out to them usually every season if we have an opening at their position and try to get them back because of that connection. Mason Kirby's just stuck with me for so long, and so excited to pair him with Connor Weston. I think that's going to be exciting.
You and I will probably the only ones that will ever remember Mac Wavy. I don't know whatever happened to that guy, but he was
Mac Wavy Jr.
He was an old Lobo head, right?
Dude, we could talk. We could just sit down and talk old SFL players for forever. Dude.
25th season, DC Dragons back into it. I'm going to give everybody an opportunity because the schedule is complete. You get 3 guesses at your week 1 convention participant on the schedule. If you get it right, I'll tell you. If not, we keep it moving.
Let me try. Let me try Queen City.
Nope.
Let's see. Let me try Fort Worth.
Nope.
All right. Give me Baltimore, but I think they'll probably be playing somebody else.
Nope. Yeah. Well,
right.
You know, maybe we'll get it later in the show, right?
Well, here's what I was going to say. I know that Hacker's going to be on after me, and hopefully I'm taking up some of his time.
No, well,
if me and him play, I'm not sure if he's still rocking the stash, but if me and him play, if Fort Worth plays DC, I'm willing to put a bet, his hair against mine. So I will, in real life, if we win, I want him to shave that stash. If they win, I'll shave my head.
Oh, okay.
So I'm going to throw that down. If Fort Worth plays DC, I'm throwing it down hair for hair.
We're going to have to ask Hacker about that. And just for that, since we're on the topic, you know what I'll do? I'll see if that let's see if that's happening here, cuz I would hate to
schedule makers me.
I would hate to prevent that bet from happening, but Hackett or Mullinex, it looks like that is going to have to wait 1 season.
Hey, look, it may not, because
we're in the playoffs.
We could be something in the playoffs. I'm just saying, it's always open. So another reason to cheer for both Fort Worth and for DC to get the playoffs.
Steven, looking forward to the season, and as always, thanks for your time and congrats on what DC is building back up in season 25.
All right, love you, brother. Thank you.
Talk to you later, man. All right, Steven Mullinex of the DC Dragons, great stuff there from DC, and he makes a good point. Kirby coming back, and Chris Britton coming back, and the Harrisons, the Says, all that good stuff. They are rolling along in DC. All right, let's before we bring on Stephen Hacker, our next guest here on the program, let's get an updated look at some free agency signings. We got a lot to talk about. We also had a bunch of re-signings as well in Minnesota. Johnny Reno, Isaac Knox, Minson, Taylor, Mam, France, King. A lot of that offense back. Axel Raven, Meerkat, Alvarado, Frosso, Leathers, Malillo, all that good stuff. In Denver, John Martin, Lucas DeVore off the board. There's the Kirby signing. I was looking for it earlier, coming across at 508. Jack Russell, Ron Hoff back in Vancouver. Jimmy Burgett in Denver. Pittsburgh's got Landon Stone back. Hugo Reynosa back in Denver. So is Jeremy Mosley. And Cyrus Jive re-signing in Albuquerque. Now let's get to those free agent signings. We've got Dylan Bamsler leaving Nashville. Of course, Nashville folding and going to Chicago at strong safety, $2.4 million. So big signing there for the Warriors at strong safety. Frank Burks, the tackle, leaving Fort Worth and going to Vancouver as Vancouver tries to get that offensive line shirt up, $1.2 million. A lot of free agent signings out of Lexington. Ian Francis comes over from Charleston at running back. Maybe that's a replacement for Phoenix Jones, who went dark last season, or at the end of last season, and that really hurt Lexington's playoff chances. How about Chris Alter from Nashville, a very capable tight end, coming over at $2.7 million to Lexington. Brenda Puff from Nashville. R.C. Puff from Nashville going to Lexington. So it looks like the Lexington Miners benefited at least the most early on from that Nashville folding. Doug Day is headed to Pittsburgh from Chicago. Big signing there, $3 million. Doug Day and Brian Craven reunite in Pittsburgh as the Riverhogs defense gets a major improvement. King Jackson has signed as the quarterback in Oklahoma City. New quarterback there, the former Motor City V8. Signing with Oklahoma City. So the Renegades have a new quarterback. Jermaine Menafield of Indianapolis, now Detroit, heading to Pittsburgh on a $1.9 million deal. So that's an updated look at some of the free agent signings there. And let's work on getting Stephen Hacker on the line to talk a little Fort Worth Toros football and some more things that they are cooking up. No signings just yet, but obviously waiting on his opportunity here on the show. Steven, what's going on, man?
Hey, how's it going?
It is great. Did you happen to hear the Stephen Mullinex bet he threw down with you?
Oh, of course. And I don't know that I would shave my stash, but I definitely would be willing to put the hair on the top of my head on the line. I would be interested in that if he would be.
Oh, so we have a head shave off is what I'm understanding.
Yeah, it's like a unicorn on my face. You don't want to destroy that. So the hair on top of my head, I can grow that back. I can deal with that. But you don't want to get rid of something this wonderful.
How long do you think it would take for you to get that back?
The mustache?
Yeah.
I don't know. A few months, I'm sure.
Oh, man, that's too long. I agree with you. You gotta keep it.
It's the growth through phase that you have to deal with. It's not so much like once it's gone that it is what it is, but it's when you're trying to grow it back and have it all thick and full, it can take a minute.
Yeah. Let's talk Toros football for a minute before we get to some signings. Fort Worth 7-5 last season, won that first round game, slipped up in the quarterfinals just a bit, but another impressive season in Fort Worth. How did you feel like it went for you guys, and what are you most looking forward to this season?
Well, I number one, just always so proud of what Lewis brings to the table, our head coach, head coach and co-owner, and he just puts in the work week in and week out, and is one of the best in the in this league, and we're so fortunate to have him and the work that he puts in. So when you have a leader like that, leading the ship, putting the game plan in and week out, it's paramount to our success. So it's no surprise to me. We're consistently in a winning position. So with Lewis leading the way, we're I feel like we're locked and loaded. We had a couple of big retirements this year, people that were with us from the beginning of our franchise, and that kind of hurts, especially defensively and offensively when you have guys that you just kind of count on season after season. But we feel like some of the moves we're making, some of the things we're going to do are going to help us build and grow into something better. So I think we're trying to explore some new things. Anytime we're presented with a challenge or an opportunity to grow or learn something, that's a challenge. That's something that we like to explore. So some of the things we've been testing have been really fun. That's a big part of some of our free agent acquisitions that we're going to secure. But that's let us kind of do some exploring and have some fun with that. So season 25 to us is going to be a lot of fun.
We got some signings to talk about on the show, or are we still cooking things up behind the scenes in Fort Worth?
I can publish a couple of our signings. It would be re-signings. We do have a couple of our free agents already signed. So let's just, I guess I'll go ahead and let go of a couple of them right now. These are all going to be some re-signings here.
Got Bacon, Price, and Zero so far. While you're going through that, I want to talk Eric Price a little bit, because I think before the season started, people saw Eric Price as just kind of a quarterback signing, nothing that jumped off the page, but he really fit in y'all's scheme last year really well, I thought. Were you pleasantly surprised, or was it really kind of what you expected, flying under the radar there a little bit with Eric?
I would say the production that we got, we expected that. Attribute wise, he wasn't too much of a step back from Dunhill for us. So there were some things there that we knew we were going to have to work with, but there was enough there that we felt confident that he could make the throws. So he had some good games. He definitely had some games where he was kind of more of a bus driver for us. But that's kind of what our identity is. We want to play into our defense. We want to grind you out with the running game. And so we want a quarterback that's not going to make a lot of mistakes. And that's one of the things that, Eric Price for us has been. He's been very coachable. He's taken some progression weeks and really done some things to help the team, right? And so we appreciate that. We try to reward that with productive play, and that's one of the things you can expect from our quarterbacks. We always try to have a plus-minus touchdown to interception ratio, so maybe not blow up the stats in terms of yards, but we definitely want to try to protect our quarterback and not make them feel uncomfortable. So good offensive line play, and a lot of times we're trying to find good quick routes that are within our quarterback's means. Last season, we felt like his player bank got really fat, so we're really happy with that. Like I said, this season we lost a couple of big contracts, guys that were with us for a long time. We always try to pay our most senior players first, and then kind of work in the newer players, and then so with some of those most senior players gone, now we have some room to kind of spend, and we're really excited about some of the growth we expect with him this season.
Yeah, if memory serves me correctly, didn't Price get $1 million for some game winner or something? I'm trying to remember.
He got quite a few. There was a couple, two touchdowns. He did quite a bit this season. So that coupled with a couple of, working with us on some of his attributes, that definitely, helped him out a lot. And so with our wipe away debt, we're starting the season with no debt. So
yeah.
That's only going to help us going into next season. And we're going to try to, we're not going to try, we are going to announce some incentives within our team. So not only can we get league-based incentives and can our team ownership get incentives, but we're going to have some team-based incentives internally where we have our team bank. We're going to give that to our players. So they're going to be featured around helping the league, helping the team, just getting back to the community in general. So if you're representing the Toros in a positive way, we want to reward those players in the best way that we can, which is growth, right? So we're really excited about announcing that to our team. That's not announced yet, but we'll post that to our locker room here very soon. And we're so excited to get to work.
Very nice. JZ Bacon, Jet Zero, Aaron Alexander, of course, your player, Emilio Panda, Duke LaRue, all back. Aiden Davis is back. I feel like I've grown up with this guy. Aiden Davis has been in the league since he was a little one. Now he's taking photos at the paper that I used to work for, my alma mater, Texas State, and I'm following along. Hopefully I get to meet him one day. But, man, talk about an example of investing in, just, I guess, tenure. And, you guys have had that great relationship with Aiden, and he's still here playing great football, too. You probably know him better than most people here. So, what has Davis been like for your team and your defense?
I mean, he's been so fun. Early on, he was a younger man, a younger guy, and like most of us, we test lines and test boundaries and push buttons, right? And so I think Luis and I kind of saw that, and so we wanted to embrace that. We kind of felt like we were younger community members at the time, and we wanted to make sure that the young, people younger than us felt like they had a spot here too, right? And so there was a time where Aiden was kind of rough around the edges, and we felt like, given some time, he was going to be just fine. He just kind of needed to grow up some, and here we are, 4 or 5 years later, and like as you said, has this great opportunity at the college he's at, and doing wonderful things, and is really one of the keynotes of our locker room when you come in. Aiden is one of the ones that's going to greet you at the door and always going to see what you're about, and really going to kind of set the tone of our culture, which is great because he's grown with us. Without Aiden, it's kind of hard to imagine our locker room. It's kind of hard to imagine the Toros, and so another great guy. Definitely deserves all the praise, all the money. Again, we try to reward our veterans, the people that stick with us, that grow with us. We're always going to try to put them first, and so he's another one that we don't ever think twice about demands or anything. If we've got it, we're going to get it to him, and I think he knows we'll deliver.
Anything on the free agency side of things?
I've got 2 here.
Okay.
So I'll get this one in there, and then that's a free agent here and there. Should have 4 new ones.
All right, let's talk about it. So we got the Gons coming, Jerry D and Luther coming back, and then Jeff Gagne, the former Nashville Tempo, London Knights, all that stuff, coming into Fort Worth at defensive end, $3 million deal. Jeff Spicoli coming over from Atlanta on a $1.5 million deal. These are some stout defenders to help you guys, particularly Spicoli, really kind of write that next chapter at linebacker after EK's retirement.
Right. And so, just great wall of gone. steady as a rock. Can't praise those guys enough. But super excited about the additions of Jeff Gagne and Jeff Spicoli. And Gagne, as you said, a little bit of a journeyman, kind of travels around, but has always been somebody that's been on our radar since our Toros inception. It just kind of never worked out. Just never had those opportunities there for him. We've always had Duffy and other defensive linemen or defensive linebackers, and just never really worked out. And this season it kind of worked out, and super excited to get Gagne there. Has big shoes to fill. Jeff Duffy is not an easy name to go behind, and when you've got Luther and Jerry D, waiting to play, and you can fill it in with somebody like Jeff Gagne, your defense is just not really going to miss a beat. It's really nice to have that luxury there, and it was just really nice how all that worked out for us. Spicoli definitely also has big shoes to fill, behind E.K. Vinson, just an SFL legend, and that's a tough thing to do. But when you have a good front seven, a strong unit around him, Spicoli was the type of player that we felt like was going to fit in really nicely. Last season had really good stats, can make a lot of plays in the backfield. We feel like we can utilize the attributes very well. So we just felt like it was a good fit for us, a good fit for him, a good opportunity for unfortunate events in Atlanta, but to come into another team that really prides himself on defense and character, right? And I think that's why Spicoli really, at the end of the day, kind of chose us, was I think he believed in our leadership, believed in what our defense can do, and his role inside of that defense.
I'm giving everybody an opportunity to guess their convention opponent for opening week. You get 3 guesses. If you get it right, I'll tell you who it is.
You might do BCS.
Nope.
No. You might go with. Ooh, I don't know who you might think our rival might be right now. So, it would be somebody who you think I would be like, we want to beat them really bad. So, like Baltimore, I ask for Baltimore a lot.
Nope, but good guess. You are kind of on the right track, though. I do know you think like that.
I'll do my 2. Go ahead and I'm good.
You're not gonna give a third guess?
You gonna put this Arizona?
No, I'm sorry.
No. Okay.
0 for 2 on the schedule release sweepstakes. Any final thoughts on Fort Worth, Hack?
I just want to say that it's great to have Stephen Molinex back on a call, even if it's only for 10 or 15 minutes. It's great to hear his voice. Love to get him back in the booth sometime. His calls were epic, but that's for another time. Just great to hear his voice. Really excited for season 25. Got some more announcements coming. Just not everybody's signed up yet, but really looking forward to it. I think there's going to be some changes and maybe what your traditional Toros might be. But expect something a little bit different this season. We're testing new things and really excited for it.
Great to hear your voice too, buddy. I miss you, and that's 95% my fault, but we'll catch up soon. Thanks for being here, and good luck to Fort Worth this season.
Yes, sir. Talk to y'all later.
All right, bye. That was Stephen Hacker of the Fort Worth Toros, and good stuff there. Fort Worth, as we kind of update their roster and see what they're looking like here early on. Putting together another stacked team. They're always in the playoffs, always in championship contention. Some good pickups there defensively, Jeff Gagne and Jeff Spicoli in that front 7. Okay, let's see. We've got, let's look at our schedule here. At 5:30, we've got Justin Reside coming on to talk some Queen City ball. Maybe he'll send me a DM to let me know and ensure that we've got some Corsairs signings coming across the wire. Let me do that real fast while you jam out some tunes here. Coming across the wire while we were on the phone with Hacker, we've got Trellis Blanton coming back at quarterback for Detroit. Denver, excuse me. Stephen Black for Minnesota will be back. James Walters and Al Friedman come across the wire for DC as free agents. Friedman coming over from Nashville along with Walters. Judah Dorgan, the kicker from Queen City, is headed to Oklahoma City on a $2.6 million deal. Nicely done there for the Renegades. Queen City is at the ready, so we'll get to their signings in a moment. Blake Prine leaves Houston and is going to Denver. A $2.4 million contract at strong safety. Nice signing there from the Nightwings. Philadelphia Collins and Jay Rock are back in Lexington. Lynn Shady back in Minnesota. Luke Schreiner back in Denver. And then Albuquerque getting the action moving. Jason Williams, Justin Williams, Kyle Finnemore, Jack Wall, Jarian Jones, Leah Williams, Joshua Williams, Neil Rivers, Chris Porter, Leo Jefferson, all back with the Adams. Jackie Jones back in Chicago. Derek Majors back in Chicago. Ricky Robinson in Chicago. Havo Ramsey from Nashville headed to Chicago. A lot of SFLM connections with those, with Nashville going to Chicago, going to Lexington. A little bit of spice there. $2.4 million for Havo on that contract. All right, let's get Justin Reside on the horn. Justin, what's up, my man?
I'm good. Got some contracts for you ready to dump live here in the thing here, in the old thing.
Can't wait. But before we get to those signings, actually, just breaking news: Josh Slapp is headed to Albuquerque, $3.3 million. That's a major signing that just came through. Yeah. But I want to talk about last season, Justin, before we get to those signings, because Queen City, I think, surprised everyone. And had a really great season, fell just short of the playoffs, but you guys have had to have been thrilled with the, honestly, complete turnaround, probably the best turnaround in SFL history, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. 6-6 is a big turnaround from 0-12 when I first joined Queen City. I
know that you were a big part of that. Chad Stinson, Tom Welsh, Ryan Davis came in, sort of tried his hand at coaching, and I mean, man, he delivered, right?
Yeah, he definitely delivered. They definitely delivered. It's just there you gotta.
Well, all right, man. If you're ready at the button, let's get the signings rolling.
Yep, number one, we got this is our new quarterback number one, a free agent signing.
Ooh. Silas Christensen, the who was a backup in Bossier City last season, although still very talented. It looks like maybe y'all are moving on from Michael Brown, but Silas Christensen getting his first starting gig. I love that.
Yep, definitely. And then this next one here is a re-sign. This is Charlie Baker, the halfback.
$3.6 million. Y'all's backfield had a lot of pieces last season, and sometimes it didn't all come together. But when Charlie Baker had the football, that seemed to work pretty nicely for you guys.
Yep, definitely. The next one is a free agent fullback. We have definitely moved on from the Wells last season when we had the Wells.
We're drum rolling it. Lars Bazar from Lexington comes over and signs with Queen City at your starting fullback spot, $1.4 million. Nicely done, Justin.
Yeah, next is our wide receiving core here. First, for our wide receivers, let's do the re-signs first before we do the big reveal of a guy who I personally know.
Yeah, Ryan Davis and Joe Beasley coming back. They definitely can take the top off of defense, that's for sure.
Yeah, the last one here is this one's the one that's the wide receiver that's a personal my real life friend. So
we talking Bob Wood or one more?
One more. The other one has not re-signed yet. The other wide receiver. This one's the.
It's Guy Clausen moving over from Nashville to Queen City. $1.6 million. Look at that receiving core: Wood, Beasley, Davis, and Clausen. I'm sure it didn't take much convincing to get Guy to join the squad, but how'd that go?
Pretty good. He and I were actually texting about it before he was able to sign his free agent contract. Actually.
So that is 7 across the offense so far. Keep them coming.
Yep, here we go. We don't have our free agent tight end yet, but we have our returning tight end.
James Matthew Jr., no surprise. Eric Barkley's still hanging on. He's got to have all gray hair at this point.
Yeah, exactly. We don't have our guards and our front guys yet. We don't have that guy yet. But we do have some of our defense. We have this guy.
Robert Crone coming back, defensive tackle. No
Yep, we have, of
surprise
course,
there.
no pride here. The ownership returns. One of the ownership.
That's Chad Stinson right here, $1.7 million.
Yep, and then we have 4 more with a free agent on top of that on defense. Myself, obviously.
Love how a team comes together. Of course, Justin Reside is back. And I remember Justin Reside when he was a wee lad playing playing the dime back on defense and getting 5 snaps a game. Look at you now.
Yep. And here's the free agent we have. Here we go.
Bentley Bonner. That's a name that's a blast from the past name. Bonner coming over from Nashville, playing corner, $1.7 million. He's sneaky good, man. He can come up with some big plays.
Yep, and we have 2 more that I have, and they're re-signings, obviously. Alex Marshall, our other, I guess you could say, coach, general manager with Guy Clausen.
Excellent.
And then the last one is the kicker, Joe Garfield.
Alex Marshall's always been a great dude here in the league, and then Joe Garfield's back. We all know how important kicker can be. How has this offseason been for you guys? Are you feeling confident that you guys can take another big step?
We're definitely confident we can take another big step. Still waiting on some free agents, but we're gonna, once these free agents sign, hopefully they can definitely.
And you get Silas on one of those NFL rookie deals. I mean, you guys save a lot of money, and if he can deliver for you, that's going to be pretty important to your team because I don't know where you guys are planning on sliding under that $50 million cap, but Queen City could clear off some of that debt and really make some noise.
Yeah, definitely. We're gonna make. I feel like we're gonna be better than the 6-6 this year once these rest of the free agents we have to sign, and then some of the other re-signings come through the wire. So.
Justin, I'm giving everybody an opportunity. You get 3 guesses at your week 1 opponent. If you get it right, I'll confirm it for you. Who you got week 1?
Well, I think Chad told me to say Detroit. I'm guessing that's wrong.
That's right! On the first one! Look at that. Queen City hosts Detroit week 1 convention weekend. Let's go.
See, Chad is smart.
On the first try. I don't know if we'll do that the rest of the day. Oh, man. I love that. Can't wait to see those 2 teams square off in the North. Any final words, Justin?
All right. I guess, go Queen City. Go Queen City. Let's go Buffalo.
All right. Thanks, man. We'll see you in the stat truck soon.
Yep. See ya.
All right, bud. Bye. How about that, man? On the first guess. That is great television right there. We had at one point, we're up to 126. Man, you guys are killing it. We're going to take a quick break and get our next guest back on. 5:45 coming up. Sully Richardson will talk Los Angeles Lycans and see what's going on around the league as free agency frenzy rolls on. Look Alive 24. That's Michael Torillo. We're so starved for SFL content, we will listen to Cam talk over images of spreadsheets. Ah, yes. Mike St. Green, why don't you read one of my posts once in a while, and then you'll catch up on everything. See you for schedule release, bud. Let's get Sully Richardson on the show. Can't wait to hear him talk some Lycan ball. Always good to chat with Sully. But before we get Sully on, we had a number of signings come across the wire while we were talking to Justin Reside. I want to go back to this Josh Slapp signing of Albuquerque. Leaves Houston. Houston has lost a few. Now, we know that Houston is going to bounce back with some signings, but some interesting player movement in Houston, especially after having such a terrific season. But Albuquerque's got a new 1-2 punch in that backfield. They were in desperate need of that halfback too, and they got it in Josh Slapp. That is a major, major signing for Albuquerque. Caleb Giffis has left Florida and is going to Chicago on a $2.4 million deal. Big pickup for the Warriors, who are expected to pass. J.J. Bailey at strong safety, leaving Sin City and going to Chicago. So the Warriors have been putting in some work. $1.4 million on that signing. DJ Kilgannon also back in Chicago. All right, let's see. How about Parker Thomas is back in Denver. Joseph Sabolka is back in Denver. We've got Kiara Cool coming over from Sin City, going to Denver. Talk about enemy territory. Could Vice Wars be back this year with Vegas and Denver? Let's see. Doug Britton leaving Charleston and signing with Pittsburgh. A little bit of a Louisiana connection there, question mark. $4.1 million to Doug Britton. R.E. Mills and Gerald Cumbus back in Denver. $4.1 million. That is up there in terms of the highest salaries. Somewhere in there. That's quite a haul there for Britton and the Riverhogs. All right, one more refresh. Jordan Bradshaw is back in Denver. And let's see if we can't connect with Sully Richardson. Sully, welcome to the program.
Hey, what's good, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. Congratulations on the new majority ownership of Los Angeles. I know that you've been putting in the work, and Ray's meant a lot to this team, but as she moves on, you get an opportunity to spread your wings a little bit as well. I know you've been sitting on the announcement for a while, but what's it like to say that's you?
It's a big blessing, man. It's been ever since I came into the league, like seeing like all the wonderful work you've done and all the teams and whatnot. That was my dream, was to own a team. And so when I got, of course, shout out to Carolina and Reese and James for giving me the opportunity and to play in the league. And then when I got to the Lycans and whatnot, like I just seeing like all the hard work that Ray did. She's like a vampire, man. I'm surprised she finds time to sleep. So when I got the opportunity or whatnot, I know that her plate is full or whatnot, and it's always been my dream to own a team. So we finally got it worked out, and I appreciate Ray for everything that she's done, you know, for us and the team, and it'll never go unnoticed. Her hard work will never go unnoticed.
Now, I'm a fair man, Sully. On a SFL this week, earlier this season, towards the end of the season, LA coming off a loss, I said that offensive coordinator needs to find new employment. Needs to just get rid of. I said it right on the air, and I said it with my chest. This is now your opportunity either to talk about you as the offensive coordinator and as the coach, or to tell me something that I need to kick rocks on and improve. Floor is yours. It's not a trick question. I'm just a fair man.
Well, okay, like let me see. You can't. How can I say this? I'll say it like this. We went into this thing. You can't go into like a new situation with old tactics. And so that's what we were doing at the time. We were going into the situation thinking, oh, let's do this, let's do that. It's not all about just picking a playbook and then just picking the plays that you like and you don't like, and then you submit the playbook. It's so much more. And I had to learn that actually, like after our loss to Sin City. That's basically where I just gathered everybody together, and I said it's time to pivot. Like, we're not gonna win the rest of the season. Like, not saying I gave up the faith, not saying that I completely kicked it, like kicking the can down the road or something. But I was like, we got to pivot. We got to focus on next season. And so, just like anything, the information is out there. You just have to go out there and dig for it. And so that's basically what we did heading into the off season. We dug for information and we found out a bunch of stuff about our team that I believe will be very, very beneficial. That's why I've been saying it's time for us to change the narrative of the Los Angeles Lycans, and that's what we plan on doing.
And that's the beautiful thing about a new season, right? You get a whole nother opportunity to kind of take the bull by the horns. And we saw it last season when in Washington, your division rival, right? I mean, they totally turned it around. Queen City went from 0-12 to 6-6. Anybody can do it, right, Sully? Maybe y'all's time is now.
Exactly. That's some great examples. Queen City, Washington, even even Denver.
Denver, yeah.
Even Denver. You know what I'm saying? So like when I seen all three of those teams, I was like, why the hell not us? How come we can't do it? And everybody, even Mike St. Green, like it hurt me to let him down season after season. So you know what I'm saying? There are some fans out there, some Lycan fans out there, and we just want to make them happy. And we want to make ourselves happy, first of all, but we want to make everybody else happy and not disappointed. So I think it's time to go.
So let's get to some signings. What do you got cooking first? Let's talk about some that came across the wire earlier today. Of course, you're back. Iniguez is back in the backfield. Chris Lee, Jack Flash, Oren Wilds, Ace, and Tazzy Blackwell, the anchors of your squad.
Yep. Like it was good to have them back. Like we're just trying to build up. Like the foundation is already there. We're just trying to build the walls up now. Like so it can be something sturdy or whatnot. I think we're in the process, just waiting on, a few more signings and whatnot, but we're in the process of building something great.
John Lakeman with an A+ chat there. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Love it. All right, Sully, let's get to some news.
All right, so I got I think 3 individuals, 2 on offense and 1 on defense, but 2 free agents on offense and just a regular person on defense. He's going to be more than regular this next season, though.
Let's start with Joseph Budette, for the wide receiver coming over from Queen City. Kind of looked like maybe the odd man out there in Queen City, but you guys get to scoop him up and add him to an already great receiving core with Lee and Flash.
Yeah, and the thing about it is, if you notice, Cam, it's been a while since we had like 4 wide receivers. Mm-hmm. It's always been like 3 wide receivers, and then we have to throw a halfback, or we have to throw a tight end. And so like it's only so much you can do. There's been teams before that have done it, but we've always been trying to get like an extra wide receiver in, and I believe that Joseph is a key piece. He can be a key piece in our offense coming up this season.
Damian Robichar, the guard, comes over from Charleston, so you get some offensive line help. Also, Bear Winters back in the fold at defensive tackle.
Oh yeah, like Damian, like, man, we need the help when it comes to offense or what with the offensive line or whatever. So when I spoke to him or whatnot, like he's a beast, and I think that he'll make our line really good and make me as a quarterback more comfortable in the pocket, and also helping out Iniguez, burst through the line or whatnot. So it's been real good. And with Bear, like I said, he's just a bear of a man. Like I can't wait to see him in the backfield. Like I'm really, really joyful about that.
All right, what else you got for us, Sully?
All right, we got a familiar face on our defense returning.
Oh, Ryan Yosef, welcome back. The yo-yo back in the fold. 1.2 million at strong safety, rolling on back into the SFL. Look at you. That's a great pickup, and happy to have Ryan back in the league. How'd that come about?
Well, like Ben Charbs, we our long all-star from season 24. He decided like he wanted to seek greener pastures or whatnot. So for the longest, we were just trying to find someone to fill the void or whatnot. And I was thinking like, actually, our GM Brogan, he came to me and he was like, why not reach out to Yosef? And I was like, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he would because life being hectic or whatnot. But I contacted him and he was like, sure. So like you never know unless you ask. So if I had never asked him, he would have never said yes. So that's how we got him. And I think he's just going to pick up where he left off or maybe even get better.
Doug Britton in the chat. Just when I thought I was out, they dragged me back in. Unfair SFLM coach and Craven and quarterback Ace came hard at me late. And then Ryan's in the chat. Who the F is that guy? Sully, I keep trying to tell people I don't really understand why you're leaving. You're just gonna come on back because it's more than football, man. Right? Like this is what makes the SFL so special.
Yeah, it's a family. Like, and this is like it goes back to Ray. Even Ramen, when he used to be a part of the team, we always wanted a locker room that was like drama free and where you can talk amongst yourselves and talk about real life, get away from the real world problems and whatnot, and just help each other out emotionally and everything. And that's why I love the league. I love the league because you can really just unwind and unplug from your real life or whatnot. So that's why we're here. I don't see myself going anywhere anytime soon. So.
Well, that's great to hear, Sully. Let's see. We are up to what are we up to for in LA? We've got 3, 6, 9, 12. Oh, I just saw another one, and oh man, that is a topic of conversation. Anthony Wyo continues to make the rounds. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame just for playing for every single team. I hope it happens. I want that. No, in all seriousness, Wyo probably in the Hall of Fame for all his stats. But your newest corner in Los Angeles, talk about Wyo.
Oh, like Wyo, it was to me like, and it was funny though because like what you just talked about, I was like, dang. Like last season, I was like, dang, Wyo gonna end up playing for every team in the doggone league. And so when we found out about Atlanta, not being a team anymore in season 25, here we go again. When I said, if you don't ask, you never know. So I was like, for kicks and giggles, I just DM Wyo and I was like, I'm just gonna ask this. I don't know why I'm asking you. Like, it probably doesn't make any sense, but hey, we want you. And so it shocked me when he replied back to me. We talked a little bit and I told him my vision, the vision of the team and whatnot, and it was all gas, no brakes after that.
I love that. And, I think sometimes I think Wyo is the most misunderstood man in the SFL, but then I think, wow, there's a lot of those. So maybe not, but he's a good dude, and love and appreciate all the seasons that he's given around here in the SFL. Man, this is shaping up to be a pretty great roster. Sully, what else we got here?
Well, that's all I have so far for
That's a lot.
free agency. Like, I'm waiting for one more that would, as the old pastor used to tell me, will kick your shoes off and do your socks injustice. But for right now, we're just waiting. It's just playing the waiting game right now, and we have plenty of other surprises too. So just waiting.
Sully, I will give you the opportunity I've given everyone else. Justin Rizai got it on the first guess. Made us 1 for 3 tonight. Who you playing in week 1? You get 3 guesses. If you get it right, I'll confirm it.
Okay, my first guess is Arizona.
Nope.
All right. The second guess is Queen City.
Nope.
No, it's not Queen City. I'm sorry, because
okay, all right, I'll give it back to you. You're right. They play Detroit.
Man, I want to say, is it Vancouver?
Nope.
Okay, I'm just gonna go out on a limb and I'm gonna say Carolina for the third one.
Nope.
That's a relief.
1 for 1 for 4. Hey, I heard the request. Let's just let it breathe for a little bit. But Sully, awesome having you on. Really excited for the vision you guys have, and some guys you're bringing in and bringing back into the fold. Always great to talk to you. We're going to see you at convention again. I always love to hang out.
Oh yeah, I'll be there with bells on. I got you, man.
All right, man. We'll see you then, and good luck this season in LA.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks. That was Sully Richardson of the Los Angeles Lycans. Listen, sounds like there's some good things going on in LA. Sometimes, change can be good for everyone involved. And speaking of Carolina, we've got Harish Prasad coming up next on the program. Talk a little Skyhawks signings and conversation. I see they're starting to roll down the wire, as is Bossier City. Let's catch up on some other free agent signings and re-signings. Let's see. We've got Jordan Bradshaw back in Denver. Tom Krieg back in Pittsburgh. We've got Tank Bennett back in Denver, still working on that Hall of Fame stat line. Jad McPherson coming over from Oklahoma City at defensive end, signing with Chicago. So the Renegades lose 1. That's disappointing for OKC, but Chicago continues that rework of that squad. Then a bunch of re-signings. Adrian Ellis Sr., another receiver in Queen City, coming back. BB Belitz is back in Pittsburgh. Bossier City with a ton. Vin Calya. And yes, broadcasters, it's Calya. Yogi Barr, Biff Markham, Jabu McSlim, Rob Foraker, Bogey Barr, Freddie Trammell, Michaela Foraker, Stuart Zomilia, and Bob Funk all coming back in Bossier City. And then in Carolina, Riley Quintero, Tony Zoma, Adam Banks, Chris Curtis, Nolan Pierce, Chase Earl across the wire first. Let's get Harish on the line. Harish, what's happening?
And his name is John C.
Man, I'm so glad you picked that one. What's up, Harish?
What's going on, Cam? How you doing?
Very good. Right-click mute soundboard of one Harish Prasad. Well, that was a great one. Welcome to the program, and welcome to season 25.
Thank you very much. I'm happy to be here.
Carolina's got 6 across the timeline, but before we get to that, let's just talk some Skyhawks football. You guys won your first-round game last season, or 2 seasons ago. You lost in the first round this season, but another playoff appearance for you guys. How did you feel the season went, and what are you most excited about moving forward?
it had its ups and downs, right? So obviously the biggest positive is we were able to come away with our first ever division title, and you know, going into the season, nobody really would have, not a single soul out there guessed that we were going to win the division with Florida out there lurking. Usually they're the ones who take the division, but the good thing is, you know, even if Florida was you know, playing their best ball, we were still enough to be competitive in the division with them going 8-4. And not only that, that was our best season in the regular season, going at 8 wins. Before, our record was 7 wins. But then we meet Minnesota in the playoffs, which just was not a good matchup. And we had one of the longest, I think. I don't know what the other home winning streaks were, but we had one, I don't know how many straight, like 2 seasons straight worth of home games. And the last 2 teams who beat us at home were Minnesota. So just going into that playoff matchup was a little bit scary. So, and you know, they kind of made work of us. So we got to do what we can to reload and come back and get ready for another good season.
Well, you know, you've had Florida's number as of late. That was part of the reason why you won the division. So now with 4 teams in it, I guess you get to play them twice. What do you think about that?
Oh, good.
That's what happens when you win. You know, the league always tries to cut you down.
You know what? If you want to be the best, you got to beat the best, right? So bring it.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk these 4, 6 signings, and in fact, I'm going to refresh to see if. Oh, yep. Yeah, I got a lot to talk about. Where do you want to begin? A lot of re-signings, at least to start. But you know, the core nucleus of your team is back, and one of the best things about Carolina is the culture you've created and all the retention you guys have.
Yeah, and that's, you know, really the big part of an off season for us is making sure we're able to retain those guys and keep the big part of the family together. And, you know, it's more than just what's on the field, right? All these guys that are here are very close friends of mine. You know, we're all a family in Carolina. People know what our locker room environment's like. So, you know, being able to keep these people here and just be able to keep having fun with this group of people, and, you know, now being able to win with them it's a nice feeling for sure. So it's really all about, you know, just try to find ways to get better. And, you know, obviously we had the unfortunate passing of our good friend Ibari. So, you know, trying to, you know, replace it was a heartbreaking thing to do, because, you know, he would have stayed if he was still with us now. But, you know, it's really just about how we can get better. So
Yeah, you know, we just had Mullinex on. He was talking about losing Robo, and of course, you know, you guys lost to Bari, and these things are not things that are normal topics of conversation that we've had to deal with historically in the SFL, but I feel like it's becoming more common, unfortunately, the bigger we get and the older we get, Harish. I feel like we're going to be talking on the phone at like 50, you know, we're just going to become the old people that are just talking about people dying around us. I guess in some way it's a beautiful thing if we're around for that long, but it's tough no matter how you slice it, just dealing with life.
yeah, and the crazy thing is now going into season 25, this is going to be my 14th season in the SFL.
That's 7
just
years.
Crazy to me to think about. That's 7 years. I think I was a first or second year in college when I first joined, and I'm now 4 years into my grown-up job after graduating college. So it's crazy to think about how long we've been doing this. But, you know, I'm very happy that I've been able to discover a place like this to just meet a bunch of new people.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you've got a list of 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 16, I think is my count, returning at least since the last time I refreshed. But we got any free agents to talk about?
We do. I've got 5 to talk about.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah. So we do have, still not everyone has resigned yet. That's gonna, you know, happen out over the course of time. But and this first one I'm publishing right now is technically a free agent, but it's really just reincarnated Chad Rowland as Gibson Rickenbacker, moving to tight end.
Hey.
So I just pushed that one through.
I approve the name. It's a much more mature and restrained and refined Chad Rowland. I really like that side of him.
The side that isn't Chad Rowland.
Yeah. Yeah. Perfectly said. Beautiful, in fact, Harish. Very good.
You know, I just gamified that statement.
But yeah, gonna be your tight end, and you guys have had a lot of success with tight ends in the past, offensively, so that'll be really interesting.
Yeah, and going into this offseason, we had Vince DeSantis retire on us, and I don't even remember how many seasons he's been with us. It's been a long time since he's been with the team. I think it's almost been 10 seasons since he started playing with us. So, he was such a staple of this team. He was a great guy, but he decided it was time for him to finally hang it up. So, just more of a chance, really, to move Chad into a tight end role there.
Now, what kind of voodoo did you pull? $2 million. Where's he stemming from?
We had the money, right? So why not?
Well, that's not an answer. You don't just get to give someone a raise. What was his former player that he had all that invested in speed and strength and all that?
What was that?
How did he get $2 million? That's what I'm trying to figure out. Where did he come from?
He was he signed from like Indy and I can't remember I think season 19. That was an APF player.
Oh, okay. Now, all right. Hey, you know what? Live, we're gonna do this right now, just because I like giving Harish a hard time. Season 19. What team are we talking about?
Indianapolis.
Oh, there he is, Gibson Rickenbacker. Look at Carolina, deep in the well of player signings. You know what? That is truly impressive, Harish. I'll give you all the credit on that one. That's unbelievable.
I can't take all the credit for that one, but
see, Chad's players are so forgettable. I completely missed that one. Wow, that is crazy.
Nope, definitely not a UDFA, I will say.
Well, that's very good. Very good signing there for Carolina. Okay, who's next?
All right. So because Chad is no longer on the offensive line, we have a replacement for him right here.
No way. Brookie Burr leaving Minnesota to go to Carolina. She wanted some of that culture.
Oh yeah, she's gonna get culture.
1.6 million. Now, where'd you find the 1 point? I'm just kidding. It's that's a.
We're gonna do this again?
No. But Carolina is building quite the diverse group over there. A lot of ladies on the Skyhawks. I'd love to see that.
Oh yeah, we're definitely a diverse group, and we like to keep things interesting.
All right, let's go. I need more.
All right, let's see. This is a familiar face for us. You good to refresh?
Hattori Hanzo back in the fold after playing. He wanted to play with his buddy Chisholm, and I can appreciate that. I know how long they have been friends, and now he gets to come home.
Yeah, he was pretty torn about having to do it because he was a lifer here at Carolina, so he was calling me kind of distraught, just like I want to play with Mark. He's saying this might be his last season. I was like, dude, if you want to go play a season with Mark, I totally understand. I mean, I know how close they were, so
yeah,
I'm just happy to have him back.
Yeah, that's a great pickup. All right, who's next?
All right, let's see. I'm going to go here. All right, you can refresh.
Another lady
face
of the SFL, Ike McBride, heading back to Carolina. This is reminding me a little bit of what DC's got going on, bringing back some old faces onto the team, and Ike McBride is back in the backfield.
Yep, Fear the Schmear, it's back, baby. This is one I'm really excited about. Having Riley Quintero and Ike McBride in that backfield. It's going to be awesome to watch.
Now, hold on a second. I don't see a Harish Prasad in the backfield or at wide receiver. What's going on there?
That is correct. He is not at either position. As of right now, he is retired, so he will not be playing the season unless something drastically changes.
Look at you pulling an Eddie Gage. Mad respect.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't something I was totally planning on, but when talking with Ike, it made a lot more sense to just retire my player and have her come back. So, happy to do it for, just happy to do it for her. I'm just happy to have her back too.
But as an owner, that's the benefit of, if you've got so many players that you don't even need a player of yourself, that's a blessing in itself, I think.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, if I had, it's nice to fill the locker room with more faces. So definitely, my player was never something I was really attached to. It was really all about the team for me. So
going off of what Mike O'Neill said, because that's a very good point. At the retirement home that you will inevitably be staying at, are you gonna have one of those life alert buttons? Because we know there's gonna be some help me, I've fallen and I can't get up moments.
I've fallen and I can't get up. Yeah, seriously. I was waiting for someone to say it. As soon as you brought it up, I was waiting for someone to say it.
All right, who's next?
All right, let's see. All right, you good to refresh? Another familiar face.
And there she is, Rochelle Colston, leaving ownership and back at her old stomping grounds at strong safety with Carolina.
Yep, and this is such a bittersweet thing, of course. Having to put someone in Ibari's starting safety spot, but no one I would rather bring in than someone like Rochelle. You know what she means to the SFL as a whole and to our organization. She was my GM for God knows how long, and so it's just really nice to have her back. And I know, see Tristan in the chat's going off. So a lot of people are going to be happy that we're bringing her back. We didn't really tell anyone in our locker room about it, so
yeah, that's a big time signing. Looking over Carolina's entire roster here, coming in at, that's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 23 players. You're only at $38 million. Carolina's about to be flush with cash here. You're not in debt either.
Right. And, things are obviously subject to change with some of these contracts as needed. But, coming in under the $50 million prior to going into the offseason, not being in debt is definitely going to be helpful to have some of that extra money for the players to progress to. So
now it's a big roster, Harish, but one thing that's missing is that quarterback spot. What can we expect from that? And are we seeing that today?
We are seeing that today. That was the next thing that's coming up. So here you go. Some people did predict this already.
Bryant Dynasty, the hair flip, going to Carolina, signing a $2.4 million deal. It's been a couple of seasons. Dynasty hasn't had the production on the field I think that he would like, but I'm sure you're hoping a change of scenery can help him out.
Yeah, for sure. And the irony of it is he's replacing Marcus Dunhill, just like it happened in Atlanta.
Oh man, that's true.
Yeah, so I honestly was surprised he was going to play another season because I figured he was going to retire. But, I'm so happy to have him here because he's been one of my closest friends in the league for a long time. And on the field, he's definitely like an awesome player. So I think it's going to be a good season with Dynasty here.
That is incredible. What a team you got putting together over in Carolina, and can't wait to see you guys out on the field. We are running a little over, but I have to ask you, who do you think you got week 1 at convention? Who knows who's got to deal with that? 3 guesses. If you're right, I'll confirm it.
Okay, my first guess is Arizona.
Nope.
Damn. Um, let's see. Albuquerque.
Nope.
And my last guess is Washington.
Nope. I should have given you Minnesota in Carolina. That's what I really should have done, but I didn't do that.
Oh, come
All right,
on.
well, one for 5 here on the program. Justin Reside batting 1,000. Harish, any final thoughts on Carolina heading into season 25?
Yeah, I mean, I'm just excited to see, not just how we look, but just how everyone else looks. It's going to be an interesting season for sure. So appreciate you having me on, Cam.
All right, man. Thanks very much. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.
All right, that was Harish Prasad on the program. We've got Keith Wheeler coming up. We're just a little bit behind, but we're never going to take it away from any of our guests. Talking Pittsburgh Riverhogs football. Before we get to that, Dexter Jackson has just signed in Queen City from Fort Worth. That's a major development there. Another linebacker loss for the Toros. Queen City, a monster pickup at $1.5 million. That is huge. And, Queen City has had some great linebackers. Luke Swift sticks out, and he's back as well in that linebacking core. So, man, Luke Swift and Dexter Jackson. That is a monstrous pairing in Queen City. Kenny Slider is back at quarterback for Lexington. Cameron Shaw back at corner. Bailey O'Shaughnessy returns to Denver. Taylor Menor back in Pittsburgh. Chaz Blackwater back in Mexico City. Stephon Forge, Derek Nearcat back in Minnesota. Luke Swift, as mentioned, back in Queen City. And that catches us up on all the signings. But big one there from Dexter Jackson, Ben Stone back in Fort Worth. Let's get Keith Wheeler on the line. Keith, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
Doing well.
Let's talk some Pittsburgh Riverhogs football. You guys made some improvements. I think everyone on the team would have hoped maybe you won a few more games, but this team was super competitive all season long, even a win over Baltimore as well. How would you summarize Pittsburgh's season last season?
Hey, anytime you can improve and double your win total, technically from the year before, and build into your culture is always good. And obviously, would have liked to have a couple more because we had a couple games where we lost literally on the last kick or something. But you know what? 4 is a good place to start.
Oh, apparently it's Brookie Burr's birthday, getting to sign with a new team on her birthday. Happy birthday, Brooke. All right, for Pittsburgh so far today, we've had 14 signings come across the wire. I want to start with Doug Day, who, like Rochelle Colston, stepped away from Chicago and is now finding the joy in being a player again, reunited with his buddy Brian Craven at linebacker. I'm sure that was a slam dunk for you guys. How did that come about, if I didn't get it right?
Well, Coach Craven did a great job reaching out, talking to Doug, bringing back the Bash brothers. And that was kind of, once we got that idea, showed him what his jersey would look like, it was a done deal. I mean, you get somebody like Doug and his well, how do we put it? His understanding of how to build players between him and Craven, nobody's going to compete with us now.
And then Doug Britton too. So you got a pair of Dougs in free agency. Britton has been, one of the explosive, most electric players in league history, working on a Hall of Fame career as a returner. I'm assuming that he would continue returning kicks for you guys. But talk about a monster piece for the offense after losing Connor Weston to DC last season.
Well, bringing Doug on was great. I mean, when we reached out to him, kind of on a flyer, hey, we like here and there are the connections between Coach Craven and a lot of these guys, which has been great. But adding him along with Ziggy is going to be tough for defenses to cover. We still have some other people we can't talk about yet because they haven't signed that are going to add more stress to the opposing defenses. And then obviously we got several people that are re-signing that are currently traveling right now. So we can't talk about them yet either.
Jermaine Menafield, your third free agent signing that's come across so far, comes over from Indianapolis. I don't particularly know Jermaine too well, so this is one of those signings where I say, what's going through the mind of Jermaine and Pittsburgh, and how did that all come together? So how did that relationship start? What's the connection, and how did you guys get him in Pittsburgh?
Reached out. We were looking for somebody to pair with Tom Krieg or the corner, and everybody talks about all-stars and stats and stuff. If you're an all-star corner, people don't throw at you so you don't have stats, and that's how we look at Tom. And we were trying to find a piece that we could add in with Todd Rigsby and Tom that matched in the locker room, and Jermaine came up. We like to refer to him as the main deal. Jermaine, the main deal Menafield. That's how we call him, because we're looking at people that can meet our philosophy of interchangeable parts in our defenses and our offenses. And he fits in perfectly with our backfield. I mean, our back seven is going to be a strength. I mean, it was kind of a weak point at times last year. Other times it was a strength. And so we're just going to kind of build on that and create our defense to go with that offense that we had from last year.
Keith, you and Craven and Corey and all those guys in Pittsburgh, you kind of remind me a little bit of Vega and Jimmy Hatsis, Michael Goodman over in Denver, just in the way that these two teams are, building up their rosters, building up their pedigree, building the right way. I don't know if you necessarily see that comparison, but I know that you guys are very excited about the rosters and the people that you are bringing in to this squad. Am I wrong to say that, or how do you see Pittsburgh in season 25?
When Corey and Butch brought me over to take over GM when we originally moved up, we had a vision that we developed, how we wanted to do things, and then as we went, picked up things from Carolina. I mean, from Charleston, picked up things from Denver, picked up things from wherever we've been, Houston, etc., and try to build it into our identity. As Hatsik came on, he and I talk all the time. A great guy. Can't wait to meet this guy. But we kind of talk philosophy because we all come from different leagues and we come from real life coaching backgrounds. So it's like, okay, how do we tie this in together? But the way I liked it, and I learned this from Jeremy at Denver, was there was a philosophy and you stick to it. And Corey and Butch allowed me to do that with this team. Is here's our philosophy, here's how. And when we look for players, that's who we look for that fit that philosophy and inside the locker room as well.
You said, can't wait to meet that guy. I know he's going to be at convention. Does that mean you are as well?
I wish I could, but with my work, it's all vacations based on seniority, and I'm not senior enough to have a summertime slot for vacations. But I would love to be there. Being I have lots of friends in the Baltimore, D.C. area, I'd love to be there, but unfortunately, I don't see myself being there anytime soon.
And you're all the way in Oregon right now, right?
I live in Southern California, actually.
Well, yeah. So, okay, still way out west. So, not the easiest in the world. I totally get that. We'll miss you. We'll miss you there.
I live between Palm Springs and L.A. I'm originally from Oregon. That's like when I was pitching my minor league idea it's based off of where I was from.
Yeah. Okay. Got it. Okay. So, do you want to discuss anything more about Pittsburgh that you can discuss?
Like I said, I'm not one of these people that likes to do like the drama of everything. Here is, what we got. Got a lot of returning people. We got a lot of retention this year, which is good. I think we've strengthened some areas and that we were kind of lacking in last year, and then added on top of strengths that we had from last year. So it's going to be interesting to see. I know Coach Craven and Corey have been working nonstop on playbooks since the end of last year. And they just wanted to make sure we get everybody fit into our philosophy and how we can get that to work. But I mean, we got some people coming up, some free agents that are going to surprise some people. But until they sign, I can't say anything.
Yeah, no, the consummate professional as always. Keith, we're 1 for 5 so far here today. I'll give you 3 guesses to your week 1 opponent at convention, and if you get it right, I'll confirm it for you.
Obviously, with the budding rivalry with what happened last year, is obviously I'm gonna have to pick Lexington first, being that we're trying to build that rivalry with them.
You are correct, sir. Lexington is your week 1 opponent, and that's 2 matchups down for convention weekend. Couldn't pass that up.
That's 2 of us on first pick, no less.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, yours was slightly easier because I don't know how he picked Detroit. I mean, that just was out of nowhere. But no, that's great. Pittsburgh, Lexington, and the first time y'all met last season, it was an epic game, one of the best games of the season. So can't wait for the rematch.
Oh, it was great. Offensively, it was great. Defensively, I was like dying.
Yeah, that's how it goes sometimes. Keith, thanks for joining the program. Good luck in Pittsburgh, man. Love what y'all are doing over there. And
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. And just to let you know, you and I on that behind the clipboard is still my highest rated one so far.
Sweet. I love that. Thanks, man. I appreciate you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for your time.
You too, mate. That was Keith Wheeler of the Pittsburgh Riverhogs. And, man, some good things going on in Pittsburgh. So many great things around the league. Carly Forge is back in Minnesota. Mojo McLean, Ricky Rigatoni back in Carolina as well. Saron Yates, the 4th, back in Mexico City as the Aztecs get another signing across the wire. Chad Stinson saying he picked Detroit because of Casper. That's true. You know, Casper Haddock, the former coach in Queen City, will be taking on his former team there week 1 in convention. So there you go. And a new divisional rivalry as well in the North. Jay Ballmer is next. And the man that hates Texas, I put all of my mortgage on the fact that he will not be going to a Texas team. That is coming up next as the free agency frenzy rolls on. We'll be right back. Welcome back here on the Free Agency Frenzy. I'm here with Jay Ballmer, team ? What's going on, Jay?
Greetings and salutations. Dude, hey, you know what? What's going on, Ken?
Not much, man. It's going great. I love this is one of my favorite days of the year because you can feel the energy in the chat, you can feel the energy in the viewers, you can feel the energy in the guests. Because everybody's got hope, and hope fuels happiness, right? And I'm sure
Chat is blowing up.
Yeah, you got plenty of hope